Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to learn effects and the prescription of acupuncture and moxibustion. First, we learn effects of acupuncture and moxibustion. Based upon the theories of traditional Chinese medicine, the practice of acupuncture and moxibustion is a therapeutic method to prevent and treat disease by needling with acupuncture needles or warming the points with moxa. Over many centuries of medical practice, ancient practitioners summarized that acupuncture and moxibustion can regulate yin and yang, stretch the meridians and collaterals, reinforce the body's defenses, and eliminate the pathogenic factors, regulating yin and yang. The yin-yang theory is an important component of traditional Chinese medicine and a guiding principle for understanding the physiological functions of the human body, pathogenesis of disease, diagnosis, pattern identification and treatment. When the pathogenic factors, such as the 6 climatic pathogenic factors and the 7 emotional injuries, disturb the body, the yin and yang may become either excessive or deficient and imbalanced. As a result, the physiological functions of viscera and meridians fails to work normally, and the person will become ill. An excess of yin lead to yang damage, and conversely, an excess of yang cause yin to be damaged. Acupuncture and moxibustion function to intervene with pathogenesis of disease and have the capability of regulating the excess or deficiency of yin and yang in order to restore the balance between them. With the balance of yin and yang restored, the physiological activities of the viscera and meridians will return to normal, and the disease can be cured. Stretching the meridian and the collaterals. The meridians connect internally with viscera and externally with the limbs and joints. Their main physiological function is to transport qi and blood to nourish the various body structure. When the physiological activities of meridians are normal, qi and blood within the meridians flow freely to irrigate viscera internally and moisten the skin and muscle externally, so that the viscera are well nourished and they can communicate with the surface of the body effectively. When the meridians fail to work normally, the flow of qi and blood will be blocked. Normal bodily functions will be disturbed, and the person will become ill. With the meridians blocked, the qi and the blood become stagnant. The pain and numbness will result as the main clinical manifestations. Properly stimulating the meridians and points with acupuncture and moxibustion can dredge the meridians and promote the flow of qi and blood so that illness can be cured, reinforcing the body's defenses and dispelling the pathogenic factors. The occurrence, development, and prognosis of disease are the results of struggle between the body's defenses and pathogenic factors. The condition will be alleviated if the body's defenses overcomes the pathogenic factors. Otherwise, the condition will become worse. Therefore, therapeutically reinforcing the body's defenses and dispelling the pathogenic factors are the basic principle for managing the diseased conditions in traditional Chinese medicine. Reinforcing the body's defenses and dispelling the pathogenic factors can be achieved by the use of acupuncture moxibustion. As stated in Su Wen, when the body's defenses is strong enough, the pathogenic factors cannot intervene the body. And in Su Wen recorded that for pathogenic factors to encroach, the body's defenses must be deficient. These statements indicate that the occurrence of disease is due to relatively deficiency of the body's defenses and excess of the pathogenic factors. Therefore, it is important to adhere to the therapeutic principle of reinforcing deficient body's defenses and reducing the excess of pathogenic factors. And such a therapeutic objective can be realized by using proper reinforcing and reducing manipulation methods in acupuncture practice. In above, we introduced the effect of acupuncture moxibustion. Now we continue to learn prescription for acupuncture moxibustion. Acupuncture moxibustion treats disease by stimulating the points with needling, moxibustion, or other methods. The outcomes of the treatment are closely related to the prescription. Formulating the prescription for acupuncture and moxibustion is an indispensable aspect of clinical practice. The main task of prescription are to select points correctly and to choose the methods of points combination. First of all, I'm going to introduce principle of point selection. Selection of points is usually based on the series of visceral and meridians. Points on the affected meridians are the main source of point selection. Also, different points are selected based on different patterns. The main principles in point selection include selecting local points, distant points, and special points based on the pattern of a disease. Selection of local points. Selecting of local points refers to choosing point on or adjacent to diseased areas. This principle embodies the local effects of points. For instance, large intestine 20 is selected for nasal problem, conception vessel 12 and stomach 21 are chosen for gastric disease. Selection of distant point. Selection of distant point refers to choosing points that are far away from the diseased area. This principle represents the idea of the points of meridians are indicated for disease located on the pathway of the meridian. Many points, particularly the points of the 12 regular meridians located below the elbow and knees, can be used to treat not only local conditions, but also disorders that are located on the course of meridians, far away from the points. For instance, toothache a disease of oral cavity, can be treated with large intestine 4, which is the point located on the large intestine meridians of the hand Yangming, far away from the diseased site. Another example, epigastric pain, a stomach disease, is treated with a distant point, stomach 36. Selection of special points based on the pattern of a disease. This principle is based on the basic series of traditional Chinese medicine and points. Selection of local and distant points is applicable for diseases that are localized or have definite position. In acupuncture practice, the location of many disorders are difficult to accurately pinpoint, such as in fever, insomnia, dream-disturbed sleep, spontaneous sweating, light sweats, collapse, convulsions, and coma. Selecting special points is applicable for these conditions. For example, Governor Visor 14 is selected for high fever. Heart 7 and pericardium 7 are used for insomnia. Conception Visor 6 and Conception Visor 4 are prescribed for collapse. And Governor Visor 25 and Governor 26 are stimulated for coma. Some points are specific for certain disorders, so they are used especially for these conditions. For example, gallbladder 34 is applied for soreness and pain in the tendons and bones. The above principles of point selection can be used unknowingly or combined together. For example, Conception Visor 17, Lung 1, Lung 5, and Lung 7 are used in combination to treat an excessive pattern of asthma. In this prescription, Lung 1 is the local point, Lung 5 and Lung 7 are the distant point, and the Conception Visor 70 is one of the special effective points for asthma. And then we learn the methods of point combination. Point combination is a practical step for making a prescription for acupuncture and moxibustion based on points with the same or similar actions, or using points that are supplementary to each other and can be used in combination to obtain an added therapeutic outcomes. The commonly used methods of point combination include combining points of affected meridians itself, combining points from exteriorly, interiorly related meridians, combining points from upper and lower parts of the body, combining points from the front and back of the body, and combining points from the left and the right side of the body. It is important to deal with the relation between the principal and the secondary aspect of the treatment. It is suggested to select as few points as possible in prescription, and more attention should be paid to the principal points. Combining points of the affected meridian. This combination is used for disorder in one viscous or in one meridian. Points of corresponding or affected meridian are selected in combination to formulate a prescription. For instance, Lung 1, Lung 5, and Lung 9 are used together for coughing. In this combination, Lung 1 is the front move point of the lung and is located in the local area of a disease. Lung 5 and lung 9 are distant points of diseased lung meridians, combining points from exteriorly, interiorly related meridians. This combination is based upon the exterior-interior relation between the viscous and meridian. When one viscous and one meridian is diseased, point of the exterior-interior related meridians are used in combination to formulate a prescription. For example, in treatment of coughing caused by attack of the lung by wind heat, lung 5, large intestine 11, and large intestine 4 are used together. The yuan source point and the luo collecting point combination is a typical example of this method in practice. Combining points from the upper and lower parts of the body. This method combines the points located above and below the lumbar area. It is widely applied method in practice. For instance, pericardium 6 and stomach 36 are combined for gastric disorders. Large intestine 4 and stomach 44 are used together for sore throat and toothache. In addition, the combined use of the 8 confluent points is a typical example of this method in practice. Combining points from the front and back of the body. This combination refers to the combined use of points on the front and back of the trunk. It is also named as abdominal yin and back yang point combination. Typical examples are paired needling recorded in Ling Shu and the combination of the back shu and front mu points. This method is indicated for disease of visceral. For instance, the point conception vessel 12 is the front of the trunk, and the point bladder 21 is on the back. Combining points from the left and right side of the body. In acupuncture practice, the points with the same limb and bilateral side of the body are used in combination to augment the therapeutic effects. For instance, bilateral bladder 21 and stomach 36 are used together for gastric disorder. Bilateral points that don't share the same limb can also be used in combination too. For instance, the left stomach 6 and stomach 4 and the right large intestine 4 are used together for facial paralysis on the left side. Okay, that's all for today. After classes, please review the content of this lesson. See you next time.